around you? What are some things that you can do to make waves in your community, to your sphere of influence? There's one wave that we use all of the time. As a matter of fact, it just kicked on as I was speaking. What was it? It was light waves. Waves of light that help us to see. Light is very powerful. In fact, darkness is best described as an absence of light. Because whenever it comes down to light versus darkness, guess who wins every time? Light. Light wins every time. Perhaps our world today isn't getting darker because the darkness is winning. The world is, the default setting of the world because of sin is darkness. Maybe the world is getting darker because there are lights that are not shining the way they need to be. And Jesus teaches very specifically that if you are a part of his kingdom, you are to be a light that shines into the world. He expects us to make waves of light wherever we go. He says in Matthew chapter 5, "You are the light of the world. A city that's set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do people light it under a lamp and put it under a basket." Perhaps you remember that old song, "Hide it under a bush." Yeah, I'm gonna let it shine. Okay. That's something we teach kids, but sometimes we forget as adults that Jesus expects this. They don't hide it under a basket or under a bowl. No, you put it on a stand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven. Those first two words there, you are. Everybody say are. Are, you bunch of pirates. Are. You are the light of the world. It's not a suggestion, you should be the light of the world, or you could be the light of the world, and when you get older, if you are in the kingdom, you are a light. And what's the one job a light is supposed to do? It's supposed to shine. You are the kingdom of light. If you claim to be in the Lord, congratulations, you are a light. It's not a debate. It's not like getting up one day and saying, I wonder if the dark side or the light side is going to win today. You're not a Jedi. This isn't Star Wars. That's some great fiction. It's bad theology. To wake up and say, I wonder if I'm going to go to the dark side today. No, you are expected to be a light to the world, and that's a beautiful gift. A city that is set on a hill by God. Now, if that language doesn't hit us here in this room deeply, who live in mountain home, we have literally been a city set on a hill. Are we a church set on a hill? Are we a people of God set on a hill to bring people home? So I have to ask, if people tend to be silly and hide their light under a bowl, what are your bowls? What are your baskets? Maybe you like to be a light at home, but then whenever you go to work or you go anywhere else, you're somebody completely different. And so you're supposed to be a light in your home to your family. Yes, absolutely, that's great. But don't let it stay there. Because if you don't take it with you, guess what? Your home is a bowl where you're hiding your light from the rest of the world. Maybe it's the other way around. You're at work and you're like, well, people know I'm a Christian, so I got to act like it. But when I get home, I'm the other way around. People in your cubicle who know that you are a Christian, but the people in your bedroom don't know that you are a Christian. Where is your bowl? Maybe your bowl isn't so much a specific place, but a period of time. Back when you had energy to shine a light. Oh yeah, I remember my light shining years back when I had more energy in me to be like Jesus, but so much has happened. So much has happened to me, so much has happened to my family over these last few years, and I'm not really as bright as I used to be. Maybe your bowl is the decades gone by. Well, light is actually pretty timeless. First words we see from God in the Bible are, let there be light. So light was before you, and light will be after you. So let light be through you. There is no time period where today I'm going to be a light, or this year I'm going to be a light. Your light shines no matter what you're going through, where you're going. You don't let any circumstance cover your light and be a bowl. So what is the goal? We magnify the light so that people can glorify the Lord. We don't shine our light so people can say, look at that great person. We shine our light so people can say, they must serve a really great God who's changed their lives completely. We could very well sing to God, You, light of my life. The culture has this sort of language of wanting to be just lit up with joy. The language is in the cultural ether. Is it in the church? To say, Lord, thank you for letting us be a part of your light. Whenever we come to this room, are these doors, when they close, is it a bowl where we just kind of all hide together and huddle our lights together and say, isn't it great to be a part of the light? But then no one else out there knows. If these doors become a bowl, we're going to blow the doors off so that the light shines out in the community. First John writes a letter and he says, this is the message we have heard from him and we proclaim. We go out. We declare this, that God is light and in him there is no darkness at all. Everybody say no darkness. No darkness at all. So let's just kind of give ourselves a personal grade. Don't look at anybody else. How are you doing on that whole no darkness at all? To call to a higher standard than the world. That's why it's so serious whenever the church claims to be the light, to have the light, and then we don't live it out. If we claim to have light within us and then we don't live that light, if there's darkness, then how great is that darkness? Because we claim something that other people don't have, but if we live just like them, we leave people lost in the darkness. We're like a flashlight that looks great and it looks like it's going to help, but then whenever the darkness comes, you push the button and there's no batteries in it. Looks great. Everything on the exterior is fine, but there's nothing inside that's actually going to cause light when the time is needed. The world can tell if we're just great-looking flashlights that have no batteries, if we're actually going to be the people who show up in a time of need, who bring the light with us wherever we go. They can tell when we are not very bright. And in Revelation, John, again, he's actually describing a vision that he sees from heaven. And if you want to know everything you need to know about Revelation, Hubert Pickett teaches a group right over there, right after service. He's gone for the next couple of weeks. But when he comes back, if you want to learn about Revelation, I encourage you to go to that class. But John is describing this city that he sees. And he uses this language of a city of light that sort of mirrors Jesus in Matthew chapter 5. This is what he says. And I saw no temple in the city, for its temple is the Lord God, the Almighty, and the Lamb. That sacrifice once and for all has been paid. There's no need to go to that building of the temple anymore. And the city has no need of sun or moon to shine on it, for the glory of God gives it light, and its lamp is the Lamb. Now that sounds like a beautiful place where I want to go. Do you want to go there? Okay. But if we read the verses around this, in the rest of chapter 21, we see that John is shedding some light, not on what we're supposed to be like someday, but what we're supposed to be like and how light we are supposed to be today. Let's go back to verse 2 of this same chapter. And I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride, adorned for her husband. So the city is a bride. And the church was commonly referred to as the bride of Christ. That's the church now, the church here. Not the church of someday, a beautiful bride of Christ. Husbands, you're told to love your wives as Christ loved the church. I suppose that's a different sermon for another day, husbands. We'll get to that. But for right now, let's stay with this light talk. Go back to Revelation. Then came one of the seven angels, and this is what he said. Let's skip to what he's talking about. Come, I will show you the bride, the wife of the Lamb. And he carried me away in the Spirit to a great high mountain and showed me a holy city. The bride, the church, is a city of Jerusalem coming down from heaven. And then we see, and in this city, there was no need of any sun or moon because God gives it light. I think we do Revelation a disservice when we say, well, that's about being a light in a city someday instead of being a people of light today. We are a part of the church. We are called to a kingdom of light, and we can do this now instead of just saying one day we'll shine or someday there'll be a bright city. Church, we are the city on the hill right now to be shining a light into the world. The true light of God entered this dark world through Jesus, and he says, let your light shine. And he's the way maker. He's the way maker so that you can be a wave maker. In Colossians, we read that he has delivered us from the domain of darkness. He did that. You can't get yourself out of there. Only Jesus can save you and take you out of that domain of darkness. And he transferred us to the kingdom of his beloved Son. So that's why I say, when there's no like, today I wonder if I'm going to be like a Sith Lord and go to the dark side. No, no, no. You have been transferred from that. That's who you were before Jesus. Now you live light all the time. So maybe we need to change the way we see our daily activities. Instead of saying, I shouldn't do that, we say, I couldn't do that even if I wanted to, because that's not the kingdom I belong. I don't belong to that kingdom. I belong to a kingdom of light. So I can't anymore do that, participate in the deeds of darkness, then darkness can overtake a shining light. Change your thinking from somebody who has to get up and do this yin versus yang. Oh man, which battle's going to win? No, that's Star Wars. It's excellent entertainment, but it's bad theology. If you are in Jesus, you are a light. It's not optional. We are expected to let our light shine. And it all begins with God. He shines the light in our life so that we can understand the glory of Jesus and enter his kingdom through grace. But we are expected to shine that light everywhere we go. Many of you, if you've been here for a few years, may remember a guest speaker that we had. He's a good friend of mine from college. His name is Curtis Prunty. He's here. I'd love to have him back. And he came up with a quote. I wish that I had thought of it. And I thought about not giving him credit for it and just using it, but then I figured he would probably pop in and see the sermon and be like, dude. So I'm going to go ahead and give credit where credit's due. I probably would have thought of it eventually, but here is why we are expected. Like, God has this expectation of us to shine light wherever we go. I mean, he did all the heavy lifting anyway. He shined in his light in our hearts when we didn't deserve it. He said the kingdom is a free gift, but it's not a free ride. There are expectations upon us from a loving and graceful God. He says, you are a light. I shine the light. You're a part of my kingdom. I expect you to reflect that, to let that light dwell inside of you as well. 2 Corinthians, for God, who said, let the light shine out of the darkness since the beginning, he continues to say, let light shine in the darkness, not just in the physical world, but in the spiritual world as well. And as surely as the sun brightens the day, Christians, we are supposed to brighten this world. And he has shown in our hearts to give us the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. He shined in our lives. Now, do you know that whenever God shines into your life, there's no off switch? It's not like, God doesn't go, all right, it's darkness for you in your life, in your spirit today. He doesn't turn it off. Why should you? You can't just turn the light off and say, okay, I'm going to go find a dark corner and I'm going to participate in the deeds of darkness and then I'm going to flip the light on, pretend like everything's okay. That's called hypocrisy. That's living a dual life. You cannot have light and darkness dwelling in the same person. Do you think that God doesn't see that? Like there's a dark spot, he's like, oh, where'd they go? No, when his light shines, when light is shining, everything is made visible. So why would you want to live an on-again, off-again life of light? The way he continually shines in our hearts brings that joy. We should be flipped on all the time to bring light to other people. When we live like Philippians, the book of Philippians says that we will shine like stars in a dark universe. We will be incredibly bright. And Ephesians says, for God, where's my Ephesians verse? Do we have a snafu again? Love it when that happens. All right. Hold on. The world, Ephesians 5:11 basically says that the world is going to get darker. It's going to get darker and darker. It's going to go back to its factory setting, its default setting. But a little bit of light can go a long way. You know, researchers say that a light the size of a candle flame, just a little flicker of light, in complete darkness, can be seen up to 30 miles away. A little light goes a long way. Hold on a second, let me find my place in my notes here. I copied and pasted over here, so that way if it happened I could find it. Yeah. All right, yeah. All right, found it. So, 4th of July weekend, we had all the parades and all of the fireworks, everything going off, and I bought glow sticks for my daughter because she loves glow sticks. I bought them for her because she loves glow sticks. I love glow sticks too. But so we took them to go sit and watch the fireworks, and we're sitting in chairs, and it's still, the sun is still as bright as this light right here in my face. And every time somebody got off the stage from, they're like, all right, the fireworks are coming. And she's like, Daddy, the fireworks are coming. Let's crackle with the glow sticks. And I was like, kid, it's still like, I have a shadow. Like if we crack, I got these from the dollar store. They are not going to last very long. We were trying to time the glow just right for the darkness. And she was ready. She was light still shining. I was trying to tell her, like, we have to time it just right so that whenever we crack these glow sticks, the light will shine in the darkness and it won't fade away. And recently I saw somebody that had a post where they said, I wish people were like glow sticks. I could just pick them up, break them, shake them, and let the light come on. And it's a tad aggressive. Because whenever we say we want to expose the deeds of other people, that's what that verse in Ephesians says. It says, have nothing to do with fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose those deeds, expose them. What that means is not to go in, break people up, shake them up, and shame them, and just shake them until the light comes on. Like, get it right. That's not what God did for you, to let the light come on in your life. Shame is the language of Satan. That lights no flames. That doesn't light the glory of God in anybody's hearts. Breaking people isn't our job. Whose job is it to break people? God breaks people gently so that he can remake them in his own image. Our job isn't to break them, because when we break them, we do more damage than good. God is a perfect surgeon. What he does is for the benefit of people. So we let our light shine to make people wonder what we've got, to make people wonder how we're different. And when we do this, we will make waves in our community. So we need to stop expecting people who are blind just to fumble around in the darkness and somehow find us with our doors closed. We need to go out and we need to find people and shine our light. A few weeks ago, normally every Wednesday I'm here. I'm teaching a class, I'm helping out somewhere, especially when I was a youth minister. I was always teaching a class, or I'm helping out with a small group with youth. But a couple of Wednesdays ago, it was a very weird, like the